You're watching Seattle Seahawks Today, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. We have significant news to get to on the OC search for your Seattle Seahawks, featuring a new candidate and a potential domino effect. We'll explain more coming up in just a little while from right now. Before we do, folks, we are closing in on 62,500 subscribers here on the channel. Just a little over 100 away from reaching that next milestone. You may be wondering, why should I subscribe to Seattle Seahawks Today? Well, you're going to get the best Seahawks coverage you won't find anywhere else with our daily news and rumors, our live shows that we're doing twice a week on Mondays and Wednesdays. We've been doing some watch parties even in the playoffs without the Hawks involved. We're still bringing you some great watch parties here on the channel. We also have breaking news, Q&A mailbags, sometimes 2 and 3 videos a day, all right here on Seattle Seahawks Today. Subscribe now for free, youtube.com/Seahawks TV. Make sure all your friends subscribe as well. You'll be glad you did. The Seahawks have requested an interview with Vikings assistant offensive coordinator and assistant QB coach Grant Udinski. And if you don't know the name, that's okay. Let's tell you more about Udinski and then also what the other potential implications are with Udinski here. Mike Garafolo of the NFL Network, NFL Insider, posting the following, saying the Seahawks have requested an interview with Vikings assistant coach / assistant QB coach Grant Udinski for their vacant offensive coordinator job, sources say. The 28-year-old Udinski has been a vital part of Kevin O'Connell's operation and clearly on the coaching fast track. That's my age, folks. What am I doing with my life? I'm here with you talking about the Seahawks when I could be like Udinski here and coaching with the Vikings. Anyways, back to Udinski here for a second. Let's connect some dots here for a moment. So you're telling me that Udinski is there with the Minnesota Vikings, okay? And they got 2 quarterbacks there, one with J.J. McCarthy, all right? That seems to be their quarterback of the future. And then another guy in Sam Darnold who didn't play great in the final 2 games of the season, had a very good season, but could be looking for a new home next year. So are you telling me that Seattle potentially here could be looking at Udinski and potentially pairing him up with Sam Darnold here? Now, as my guys at Pardon My Take would say, PFT and Big Cat, I'm not a conspiracy theory guy. However, I am a connect the dots guy. And these are some interesting dots to connect. And I don't think it's far-fetched to connect these potential dots here of the path that could potentially be created. Now, obviously, the first step, let's see if they hire Udinski to begin with. But then step 2, does that mean Sam Darnold? That's not a foregone conclusion, but it is an interesting idea here of what this could potentially turn into. So, what about Udinski and Sam Darnold? Corbin Smith of SI All Seahawks said the following. Teaming up with Udinski again would seemingly provide the best chance for him to continue playing at a high level. However, leaving the door open for him to replace Smith in Seattle. I don't hate it. I don't necessarily love it either. I've heard a lot worse ideas that are out there. But Sam Darnold, I've been a believer in Sam Darnold for a long time. I liked him coming out of USC. I thought the Jets gave up on him too quick. I thought the Panthers gave up on him too quick. And the Niners going there, backing up Brock Purdy, getting in Kyle Shanahan's system, that did him wonders. I was not surprised at all with what he did in Minnesota because this is who he's always been, but it was always in bad situations until the chance that he took advantage of this past year in Minnesota. Darnold joined the Vikings this season after playing for the 49ers, Panthers, and Jets. He was a Pro Bowler this year. He's got a pretty decent chance to win the NFL's Comeback Player of the Year award this year. And you look at the statistics he put up. I mean, it was just fantastic what Darnold was able to do. A completion percentage over 62%, over 4,300 yards, 35 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. And think about this, when you compare him to Geno Smith, Sam Darnold got sacked a lot this past season. And yet he was still able to throw for 35 touchdowns and 12 picks. Even with all the pressure that he was under one of the worst offensive lines in football, his numbers were drastically better than Geno Smith's were. Now, how about the Benjamins? Show me the money, as they say. How much would it cost? The latest projection from Spotrac to bring in Sam Darnold right now is about 4 years, $160.4 million. Not cheap for Sam Darnold, but he's still in his late 20s at this point. So he's not very old. And if he were to have another big season again next year, then he could potentially make even more money than that. Let's say if he were to sign a one-year deal. So with that said, what do you guys think? Should Seattle sign Sam Darnold here? What do you think about this possibility? You got two options. Weigh in on our pinned comment today. Let us know what you think. Y for yes, N for no. Chime in on our pinned comment today. Weigh in. Let us know what you think. Today's show is sponsored by Game Time. Game Time is the place to go for the best seats, the lowest prices guaranteed. Whether you're looking for tickets to sport events, concerts, theater productions, comedy shows, and more, Game Time has got you covered. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets for events even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals and great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets to find the best value. They have their super deals. If you see a super deal, that's a deal you don't want to pass up on. They also have their seat views, so you can get the visual, see what that seat is like. They also have the customize your spot feature as well. Here's how it works. You choose the event you want to go to, got the prices listed, choose your seat, and then just like that, you're checking out. With Apple Pay, Google Pay, Venmo, all major credit card providers. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code ChatSports, $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. The link is in the comments and the description of today's video. All right, so enough on Darnold for a moment. Let's go back to the coaching candidate we talked about at the top of today's show, that being Grant Udinski, and get to know him a bit further. We mentioned a pretty young cat. You can see he's got the baby face going and the supercuts haircut and everything going on there. He's been on the Vikings offensive staff since 2022. Prior to that was a coaching assistant for the Carolina Panthers, and before that he was a GA, a graduate assistant for the Baylor Bears. And I'll say this, there's a great unknown here when it comes to Udinski. With the youth at 28 years old, the lack of experience. But the more I get to know about Udinski, with what people are saying about him being a part of a very successful offense there in Minnesota that saw Sam Darnold have the best season of his career by far, the more I'm intrigued with this possibility of giving him a chance in Seattle here. Josh McCown had this to say on Udinski. He said the following. He reminds me a ton of Kevin O'Connell when I had him as a quarterbacks coach in 2015 with the Browns. You could tell immediately with his presence and intellect, he was going to be a really good coach. That's definitely what I can feel from Grant. The Star Tribune, the newspaper there in the Twin Cities in Minneapolis, St. Paul, they referred to Udinski as the most intriguing man on the Minnesota Vikings coaching staff. And there's a number of things that you can point to. J.J. McCarthy, the first-round pick by the Minnesota Vikings, the former Michigan quarterback, he said that working with Udinski, he is of the belief, and he has convinced some people within that building there in Minnesota, that Udinski has a photographic memory, that this guy remembers everything to a T. Every little detail, he's got it figured out. Kevin O'Connell, his boss, had this to say about Grant Udinski. It would not surprise me if he's on a pretty skyrocketed timeline. When I'm working for you years from now, please go easy on me, no matter how I treat you. So, a young coach, all right, very young coach, a brilliant offensive mind, and the photographic memory. You know who that makes me think of? Sean McVay. Remember him? Sean McVay when he was coming up? The young, offensive, just brilliant mind with the photographic memory. And now he's one of the best coaches in all of football. Seattle believes they found the Sean McVay of defense in Mike Macdonald. Maybe they need to go find the next Sean McVay of offense here with Grant Udinski, potentially speaking. So, now that you've gotten to know Grant Udinski, what do you think? Should Seattle hire him as their next OC? Type H for hire, type D for don't. Weigh in the comments section. Let us know if you think Seattle should hire him or not. Appreciate y'all joining us here on this edition of Seattle Seahawks Today. We will continue covering this offensive coordinator search. We'll also keep tabs on what potentially could be going on with Sam Darnold. Maybe he ends up in Seattle potentially. We will be all over it right here on Seattle Seahawks Today. For the latest happenings on your favorite team all offseason long, subscribe now for free. I'm Tyler Jones. We'll see you next time.